spouses, maybe? We're waiting on your husband, right? Do you know when he might be here?
It's feeding time, so you go ahead.
Okay.
I'll wait for that.
Well, you can take good notes till he gets here. How about that? Fill him in on the details. Well, greetings, everyone. I'm Bill Kearney, and thanks for coming to our class tonight, BabyBoomer Retirement Workshop. My company is Integrated Financial Concepts. I'm located down the road in Huntersville until May the 20th when I'm relocating to Mooresville. So I'm moving up to Raleigh School Road, corner of Raleigh School Road and Chuckwood Road, if you guys are familiar with that area up there. Because 90% of the people that I work with now, I look through my catalog of folks, have a 28117 area zip code, and they're all fighting I-77 to come down and see me. So I figure I will come up to them. But tonight's class is one of the retirement courses that we do. It's an academic course, and we're going to talk about a lot of different products and asset classes and investments and things like that, but there's nothing to buy here. This is all academic in nature, and this is the research that we put together to kind of bring you up to date on where everything is from a retirement standpoint. Okay? This course is normally, it can be done over 3 weeks, and you'll see some of that in the material tonight. Some of where the breaks are located would be to do it over 3 weeks. I've also done it over 2 weeks, which is our schedule for us. So we'll get about halfway through tonight. There'll be some homework for you to do, to take home with you. I'll go over that again, and then we'll come back here and meet here again next week, same time, and we'll finish everything up. Okay? I started doing these courses because in my experience as a financial consultant, wealth manager, financial planner, whatever you want to call it, I noticed out there in the field that there was a really big trust gap between the consumer and me. And not just me specifically, but more directly my industry. Because I think that a lot of people feel like when they meet with a financial person that the whole purpose of that is for them to sell you something. And I don't like that feeling. I know you probably don't like that feeling when you're meeting with someone either. So the way I typically handle that, I'm a licensed fiduciary, which means I'm going to close the doors on talking. I'm not allowed to sell you something when I meet you. I'm actually there to figure out what would be in your best interest to do, which maybe to do nothing at all. But what I also learned was that by doing these types of courses, people could really learn how different tools worked, how different financial tools work, so that you're more empowered when you go meet with a financial professional, whoever that may be. Okay? So we'll go through a lot of those different things tonight. I want to show you a couple of things before we start. And I'm really relaxed. If you guys want to stop me and ask me questions, we can do that. So just keep that in mind with what we do here. See if I can get this to come up. Okay. So this right here is a sub-site. It's a website off of my website. And if you want to grab a pen, you may want to write this down at the very front of your book, because you're probably going to want to visit this. The website is called My Course Reports. All one word or put together, mycoursereports.com. And then the little /IFC. And if you pull that up, what you'll find is this page here, just in case anyone forgets, I'll put a name tag on it too. And you'll notice this is kind of the warehouse of all of the research data that we put together for this course. So if you want to go back and check me on what we're talking about tonight, you can go here. Your homework is also here as well, but for the print materials for homework, I actually took the liberty of printing them out for you, and I'll hand them to you before we part tonight. If I scroll down where it says additional resources and I press the plus sign here, these are all the different places where we gathered our information for this particular course. And I was telling Kathy, she was the first one here, that this course is pretty much redone every 6 months. So the materials you see here, we'll redo them every opportunities for you will change. So that's how we do this. So that's the My Course Report /IFC. I will email that out to everyone as well after this class. Okay. All right. Now, just a few disclaimers here. There's me. Now, the information tonight is for informational purposes. I'm not giving anyone specific investment advice. I'm required to tell you that. However, if you go and do something from this class and it works out really well for you, I'll be happy to take credit for it. You can certainly tell everybody you want. When we're talking about variable products, again, it's not to give specific investment advice. I don't work for a big brokerage house, Fidelity or Schwab or anything like that. I'm a completely independent company in what I do. So everything I'm bringing you is information gathered from our industry. I'm also going to, because I'm required to, in certain areas I'm going to have to read definitions to you. I know that may seem monotonous, but I am required to do that in certain places, so I'm not leading you into certain things. That's just how I'm governed in what I do. You'll see here it says a sequence of 3 consecutive sessions. We're going to do it in 2. This is the crash course. Okay? So you're going to get everything you need to know over the course of 2 weeks. We won't leave anything out. But what we found is that we can really cover what we need to do over 2 weeks. We don't need to stretch it out to 3. And I found it's difficult for people to dedicate 3 straight weeks to coming to this course. So this is a little bit easier to do. Okay. These are some of the areas where we have, and by the way, this is in your book, so you can follow along with me. Every slide that's up here is in your book right there. So we right now are on slide 4. Okay. And so everything that you're seeing up here is in front of you as well. You can write on this book. This is yours to take with you to do whatever you want. Before I go any further, I forgot to tell you, there's a couple of things that were inside of your packet there. To getting your financial house in order, there's some homework things that we'll do in here that will help you kind of organize your thoughts from tonight. So I'll go over that at the end. Getting your estate in order, that's not a homework piece, but you might want to read through. There's some really, really good stuff. Some of the laws have changed here in North Carolina regarding estates. So if you haven't looked at it or had your estate updated or reviewed, you might want to read through this. The Personal Wealth Index questionnaire, this is a report that we do for people from time to time, if you want us to. It's really interesting because it takes people through a series of questions and then it helps me to generate a report for you. And it's not just about where you are financially, it's about your personal interactions with your family members or friends. It talks about that. Because a lot of times, money doesn't just affect your balance sheet. It affects your health, right? It can make things stressful. So we try to uncover some other things that are involved in all of that. So the Personal Wealth Index is in there too. That might be something you want to do. So what you can do with this, if you want a report run, you can actually take this with you, fill it out, bring it back, and then I can run a little report for you so you can see what that looks like. There's a sheet here called Sequence of Return Risk. This is something we're going to go through when we get to it in the presentation tonight. There is an evaluation form. You don't have to do anything with that tonight. We'll deal with that next week. And then this is the numbers game we're going to go through a little bit later too. So that should be everything that was kind of loose inside your packet there. Okay, as we get to it, I'll go through those things again. So what I try to do is try to give you an overview of traditional retirement planning, traditional rules of thumb for retirement, and then we talk about how they may not be working anymore, some different ideas and things you can do. And then we try to help you create your own framework so that you can choose some strategies and options that will help you reach your retirement goals going forward. That's kind of what my goals are for the course. We'll go through a lot of different information. I always like to ask you guys and open the floor to you. Are you coming here with something on your mind tonight that you really want to get answered over the next 2 weeks that we're together? Is there a particular part of retiring that you're unclear on or something that you really want us to focus on? Does anybody want to be the first one to jump into that? No? No one has anything? I even had 7 spaces for you to fill up. Well, if you think of things as we're going through, stop me. Say, hey, I got something. Or if we get to the end and you want to talk about something next week that this sparks something in you, that happens a lot. Please stop me when you do that part. You got something?
Yeah, I guess one of the goals is because, you know, at what point do we think we can comfortably retire based on what we've got currently?
Sure, that's a good one. We're definitely going to cover some of those ideas, and as a matter of fact, some of your homework is going to help you figure that out too. It'll lead you through how to get from where you are to that point and give you some clear answers on it. That's a good one. That's an important one. Anybody else?
I got one else.
Gary?
We bought another house here about roughly 2 years ago, so we still have 28 years to go on the mortgage.
Okay.
And I'm 51 now, so
You're doing the
I'm
math,
trying
aren't
to
you?
do the math. Obviously, I don't want to work 28 more years.
Okay. That's not what your plan is?
Not at all.
Okay.
So, what is the long-term goal as far as being able to get the mortgage paid down and still be able to retire?
Exactly. That's a good one. How do you balance and your leverage points between your long-term debt or the debt that you have versus paying that off versus, which would mean liquidating assets, which you might then need for retirement? How do you balance that? That's a great one. Is there a way to work that expense into the budget while you're in retirement? Maybe that's one way that you think about doing that part of it. So we'll get into that too. That's a good one. That's in the program. Anybody else? Yes.
Just a strategy for decumulation in a
Yeah.
sufficient way.
That's one of
Everything
the
else
phrases I use, de-accumulation, yeah, absolutely. So you get to this point where you're doing this growth stuff and you're working, and now you get to this point where how do you de-accumulate it, right? We're going to talk about that too tonight, especially when we get to the sequence of return risk and different things that show you how you do de-accumulation properly so you don't run out of money. I mean, that's obviously the goal, right? Is to do it so that it works in a good way for you. What else? You guys have hit on all things that are in what we're going to talk about, and so that's good for me to know too. It'll be in there. And just remember, we may not get to it tonight, but we got 2 weeks. We'll do it. And if I don't, you can hold my feet to the fire at the end. I'll put it that way. Anything else? Terry?
Well, I guess I'll go again. I guess one of the things we're looking at is she's younger than me. We both want to retire at the same time. So you know, I'm obviously closer to Medicare, and so we have. What point do we say we both want to retire at the same time? We're done.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
And how do you? What's the best way to cover the medical side and stuff like that?
Yeah, almost to the point of everything you guys have brought up is when you work through, part of the homework in the Getting Your Financial House in Order book is going to be pages 4, 5, and 6, and I'll go over this at the end, and then 8 through 13. And when you actually physically put this information down in front of you, you'll see those answers start to come off the page. Because it's actually all up here, you just don't know it. It's all up here. When you write it down and you kind of logically go through it, you'll see how to do that, how to answer those questions. And for each of you, it'll be a little bit different. The way you get there will be a little bit different. Okay? That's all really good stuff. Really good stuff. Okay, so here's where we are. Now, you guys know that there's a lot of baby boomers heading into retirement. Okay? About 10,000 people each day are hitting that retirement age. And I do Social Security planning classes, I do college planning classes for high school age families, so I work with a lot of different parts of the population. And this is a big piece of what we do because all of those things are interrelated. People in their late 40s, early 50s have different expenses than you're going to have as you're heading into retirement. But what they're doing in their 40s and early 50s will affect what it looks like when they get to retirement part here. So the baby boomer generation, just to make it clear, is between 1946 and 1964. How many of you were born between 1946? Everybody? Gary and Lisa were not. You guys are a little bit after that, right?
Close.
Close. Close enough for government work.
65.
Okay. All right. So what we know is that retirement happens. We're all kind of marching that way. It's going to look different for all of us. We have different ideas of what retirement means. Maybe some people it's just laying on a beach somewhere. Maybe others I'm going to do different things in retirement than what I'm doing now. Okay? Here, next is a video I'm going to show you of what Bill Gates is going to do in retirement. Okay?
How about that Bill Gates? Here's a guy, if you got a computer, you know who Bill Gates is. And he's like a billionaire 1 billion times over, and he invented the Microsoft thing. And as a result, he's terribly wealthy, and in 2 years he's going to retire. He's going to step down from his daily routines at Microsoft. And now, in honor of all he's done for the computer industry, Microsoft is releasing this celebratory announcement.
In 1975, Bill Gates dropped out of Harvard to start his own software company. Little did he know that Microsoft would become one of the world's most powerful corporations, generating annual revenue of $40 billion. Oh, crap.
Right? So obviously inside of that is the point that retirement happens, and Bill Gates is probably a little bit different than us, but what we always look at is the problem about heading towards retirement is unpredictability. There's good things that are unpredictable that will make things great for you, and then there's other things that are not, and things that are very much out of your control, so they can derail the best laid financial plans. Okay? Now the risks when we get into managing retirement, and this would be your deaccumulation phase. So here are the risks as you step into a deaccumulation phase. Okay? These up here in blue are the big ones: longevity, inflation, interest rates, stock market, public policy, and unexpected healthcare needs and costs. We're going to go through each of those individually. Okay? Because they're all really, really